The digestive system. We have already learned that every living thing needs food to obtain energy for various activities. Nutrition is the process by which all living organisms obtain food and get energy. The food that living organisms eat has different components such as carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals that are required in the building up of the body. The molecules of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats are large and complex. They cannot be absorbed directly by the cells of the body. It has to be converted into a simpler form so that our body cells can easily absorb them. This conversion is brought about in the presence of certain compounds called enzymes. All enzymes work on a particular substance. Nutrition helps to build our immunity to fight diseases, thus it maintains our health. Nutrition involves these steps: ingestion, food taken in from mouth; digestion, breaking of complex food to simpler forms; absorption, entering of digested food to our bloodstream; assimilation, utilization of the absorbed food by the cells; egestion, removal of undigested food in the form of feces through the anus. The entire process of nutrition is carried out in the alimentary canal. It is also called digestive tract. Alimentary canal. It is a long tube-like structure which is the main part of the digestive system. Most of the digestive organs are part of the alimentary canal. However, accessory digestive organs like salivary glands, liver, and the pancreas are located outside the alimentary canal. These accessory organs contribute to chemical phase of digestion by releasing digestive juices. Alimentary canal begins at the mouth and extends to the anus with an average length of about 9 meters. These organs are associated with the alimentary canal. 1. Mouth. 2. Esophagus. 3. Stomach. 4. Small intestine. 5. Large intestine. Glands associated with the alimentary canal are 1. Salivary gland. 2. Liver. 3. Pancreas. Know this: nutrition is mainly of two types, autotrophic and heterotrophic. Plants can make their own food, so are called autotrophic, while animals cannot, so are called heterotrophic. Mouth. The first organ of alimentary canal is the mouth. Food taken through the mouth is called ingestion. Solid foods are chewed here with the help of different types of teeth. The tongue and the cheeks also help in this process. During the process of chewing, 3 pairs of salivary glands secrete the saliva to moisten the food. The saliva helps in the chemical digestion of food. Saliva contains the enzyme salivary amylase, ptyalin, which converts starch into maltose. The tongue pushes this soft food, called bolus, to the back of the mouth into the esophagus. A human body produces about 37,000 liters of saliva in lifetime. Tongue. It is a movable muscular organ in the mouth that helps in the chewing and mixing of saliva with food. It is used for tasting, licking, swallowing, and speech in humans. The tongue also serves as an organ of taste and contains taste buds scattered over it. It can differentiate sweet, salty, bitter, and sour taste. Teeth. Teeth are the hard structures in the mouth of humans and animals. Their main function is to chew the food. When you see your teeth in the mirror, you will find that all the teeth are not alike and serve different functions. Organisms having different kinds of teeth called heterodonts. When all the teeth are alike, such organisms are called homodont, mainly animals. An adult man has 32 teeth, 16 in the upper jaw and 16 in the lower jaw. There are 4 different types of teeth in man. They are incisors, canines, premolars, and molars. Incisors. There are 8 incisors located in the front portion of the mouth, 4 in the upper jaw and 4 in the lower jaw. Incisors have a sharp edge that is used to cut the food. Observe, by which teeth you cut the fruits? Canines. There are 4 canines in all. Each is located adjacent to the incisors. There are 2 canines in each jaw, and their primary role is to tear the food. Premolars. Behind the canines are 2 sets of premolars. In all, there are 8 premolars, 4 in each jaw. They are flat-topped teeth. Their main function is to grind and chew the food. Molars. Behind the premolars are the molars. There are 3 sets of molars in each jaw. In all, there are 12 molars. Here, the most vigorous chewing is done. They are named as first, second, and third molar. The third molar is called the wisdom tooth. Structure of a tooth. The teeth are fixed in gums that are embedded in the jaw bones. Each tooth has these parts. Crown. The shining white part of tooth that you see is called the crown. The teeth are made of hard bony substance called dentine. The shining part is called enamel. Neck. The part of tooth covered by gums is called the neck. Root. The part of tooth embedded in the bony socket is called the root. Care of teeth. The main diseases of teeth are tooth decay, dental caries, and gum disease. About 90% of children suffer from tooth decay. It begins when bacteria act on sugars commonly found in foods. The bacteria produce harmful acids that attack the tooth enamel and forms cavities. A sticky layer of saliva, mucus, bacteria, and food residues cause yellowing of teeth is called plaque, which can cause gum disease. These habits can help you in caring for teeth and gums. 1. Brush your teeth in the morning and at the time of bed using good quality of toothpaste. 2. Avoid taking sweets, chocolate, and ice creams frequently. Make sure you brush your teeth after taking these. 3. Always use soft bristled toothbrush. 4. Eat vegetables like carrot, cabbage, radish, and spinach. 5. Take milk and milk products because they contain calcium, which make the teeth stronger. Esophagus. It is a long tubular structure connecting the mouth to the stomach and is also called the food pipe. The muscles of the esophagus start contracting and expanding. This movement is called peristaltic movement that helps the food to move towards the stomach. No digestion takes place here. Stomach. The stomach is an elastic bag-like structure made up of muscles and can expand significantly to store all the food. Here, digestion of food by both mechanical and chemical processes is performed. The stomach contracts about 3 times per minute, churning the food and mixing it with gastric juices, enzyme. These juices consist of water, hydrochloric acid, and enzymes, pepsin. Stomach produces up to 2 liters of hydrochloric acid a day. Stomach acid is strong enough to dissolve metals, but it does not have time to damage the stomach walls because 5 lakh cells in your stomach lining are replaced every minute. Small intestine. It is the most important part of the alimentary canal because all the digestion and absorption of food occurs in the small intestine. It is a long coiled tube of about 7 meters long and 2.5 centimeter in diameter and is situated in the lower part of the abdomen. It is divided into three parts: duodenum, the C-shaped first part of the small intestine; jejunum, the coiled middle part; and ileum, the final section leading into the large intestine. The duodenum receives bile juice produced by the liver and pancreatic juice from the pancreas. Bile juice is stored in the gallbladder. Bile helps in breaking fats into smaller bits. This process is called emulsification of fats. Bile also neutralizes the stomach acid and makes the medium alkaline. The small intestine is a place of absorption where smaller food is absorbed, which is finally converted into energy. The absorption capacity of the small intestine is increased by millions of finger-like projections called villi. They increase the surface area by about 150 times for the absorption of food. The digestion of all the three parts of the food is completed in the small intestine. Large intestine. The large intestine is about 1.5 meter long and 6 centimeter in diameter. It is made up of three parts: the cecum, a pouch at the beginning of the large intestine which joins it to the small intestine; colon, and the rectum, where feces are stored until they are digested out of the body. Large intestine has no digestive functions to perform. It absorbs water as well as dissolved salts from the undigested food. The digested and absorbed food in the body is used in different forms. The product can be interconverted as per the requirement. Glucose is oxidized to give energy. Excessive glucose is stored as glucogen in the liver and muscles, which can be reconverted to glucose when required by the body. The amino acids are utilized in the synthesis of proteins. Extra amino acids are converted to urea, which are filtered out through the kidney in the form of urine. The fatty acids are converted to fats and are stored under skin. This overall absorption process is known as assimilation. As water is absorbed in the large intestine, the semi-solid waste passed into the rectum as feces. The feces are finally passed out from the body through anus, and this process is known as digestion. You will be surprised to know that liver has unique capacity to regenerate or grow back cells that have been destroyed by some short-term injury or disease. But if the liver is damaged repeatedly over a long period of time, it may undergo irreversible changes that permanently interfere with function. Know this: in the large intestine, mainly water is absorbed. Food can last in the large intestine from 18 hours to 2 days sometimes. Respiration. Respiration is the complete physical and chemical process of releasing energy by the oxidation of food, where carbon dioxide in water is produced as a byproduct. Types of respiration. Depending upon the presence or absence of oxygen during the respiration, it is of two types. Aerobic respiration. This type of respiration occurs in the presence of oxygen. Here, oxygen is utilized to break down the food, glucose, to release the high amount of energy. This energy is stored in molecules of adenosine triphosphate, ATP. The carbon dioxide in water are the byproducts. It occurs in mitochondria of the cells. Food plus oxygen gives rise to water plus carbon dioxide plus energy. C6H12O6 plus 6O2 gives rise to 6CO2 plus 6H2O plus energy. 673 kcal. Anaerobic respiration. This type of respiration occurs in the absence of oxygen. During respiration in yeast and bacteria, oxygen is not involved in the oxidation of food. Food, glucose, is broken down into ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide. In this process, less energy is released. It mostly occurs in the cytoplasm of the cells. Glucose gives rise to ethyl alcohol plus carbon dioxide plus energy. C6H12O6 gives rise to breakdown to C2H5OH plus 2CO2 plus energy 50 kcal. Process of respiration. Respiration involves two processes. 1. External respiration or breathing. It involves inhalation, air taken in, and exhalation, air expelled out. In this process, air containing oxygen is taken in and air containing carbon dioxide is expelled out. This takes place through the lungs. 2. Internal or cellular respiration. In this process, oxygen is used inside the living cells to break down the molecules of glucose, food, releasing energy, and carbon dioxide. The difference between respiration and breathing is given in Table 7.1. Table 3.2. Difference between breathing and respiration. Breathing, respiration. It is a physical process. It is a biological process. In this, oxygen is taken in and carbon dioxide is given out. It involves oxidation of food material, glucose. Energy is not released. Energy is released. It occurs outside the cells. It occurs inside the cells. Enzymes are not needed. Enzymes are needed. The average person inhales about 6 liters of air per minute or 8,640 liters per day. Activity. To demonstrate that carbon dioxide is produced during respiration. Method. Take a flask containing some germinating seeds. Put a test tube inside the flask containing KOH solution. A tube is fitted in the flask as shown in figure 3.7. The second end of this tube is kept in the beaker containing water. Make it airtight. Observation. You will observe after some time that water rises in the tube. The germinating seeds use the oxygen and carbon dioxide evolved is absorbed in KOH solution. The KOH solution becomes milky. Conclusion. This shows that evolved gas is carbon dioxide because KOH solution becomes milky. The respiratory system. Following organs are associated with the respiratory system. 1. Nose or nasal cavity. 2. Pharynx. 3. Larynx. 4. Trachea or windpipe. 5. Bronchi. 6. Lungs. Nose or nasal cavity. The air enters into the body through the nose. The openings of the nose are called nostrils. Nostrils open into the nasal cavity, which is separated from the mouth cavity by the palate. The hairs and the mucous membrane inside the nose helps in filtering the dust particles. The nose regulates the temperature of air according to the body temperature and also moistens it. The nasal cavity leads into the pharynx. Pharynx. From the nasal cavity, air flows to the pharynx. It is a common passage of food and air. The opening of pharynx into the larynx is protected by epiglottis. The air from pharynx moves to the larynx. Larynx. It is a rectangular box-like structure, also called voice box. It plays a role in producing sound. It also prevents the food and fluid from entering the air passage. It leads into a tube called trachea. Trachea or windpipe. The air from larynx passes into a tube-like structure called trachea. It is supported by a ring of cartilage. It is divided into 2 tubes at the base and forms the left and right bronchi. Bronchi. Bronchi are also made up of cartilaginous rings. Each bronchus leads into the lungs of its side. The bronchi are divided into a number of small tubes called bronchioles. Lungs. Man has two lungs. Lungs are balloon-like elastic structures. The right lung has 3 lobes and the left has only 2 lobes. The lungs have many small air chambers called alveoli. Blood capillaries surround the alveoli. In the alveoli, oxygen is delivered to the circulatory system and carbon dioxide diffuses out of the blood into the lungs where it is exhaled. The path of air in human respiratory system is as air in nostrils, nasal passage, pharynx, larynx, trachea, alveoli of lungs, bronchioles, bronchi. There are about 300 million alveoli in each lung. On flattening, they may cover an area of 100 square meters. How do the lungs work? In humans, respiration is a continuous process. It occurs night and day. Breathing involves inhalation and exhalation. This is carried out by the contraction and relaxation of thoracic cavity with the help of ribs, muscles and diaphragm. The diaphragm is a large, dome-shaped muscle that lies just under the lungs. Taking in of air rich in oxygen into the lungs is called inhalation or inspiration, and giving out of air rich in carbon dioxide is called exhalation or expiration. Inhalation. During inhalation, the ribs move upwards and downwards and the diaphragm moves downwards. This makes the thoracic cavity enlarge in size. The lungs being elastic also increase in size, resulting in the decrease of air pressure. Thus, fresh air from the atmosphere rushes in through the nostrils and the air passages and fills up the lungs. Exhalation. During exhalation, the ribs move downwards and inwards and the diaphragm also moves up to return to its normal dome-shaped position. Thus, the size of the thoracic cavity and the lungs decreases and the air pressure increases. Thus, the air from the lungs is pushed out. A normal adult human takes 12 to 20 breaths per minute. Newborns breathe at a faster rate, about 30 to 50 breaths per minute. In a single stroke, about 500 milliliter of air moves in or out of the lungs. Common respiratory diseases. The lungs are the part of our respiratory system that expand and contract thousands of times each day to bring in oxygen and expel carbon dioxide. Lung diseases can result in problems in any part of this system. Some common respiratory diseases are asthma, bronchitis, pneumonia, and tuberculosis. Table 3.3 Respiratory diseases, symptoms and treatment. Respiratory disease, symptom, treatment. Asthma. The airways are persistently inflamed and may occasionally experience spasm, causing wheezing and shortness of breath, coughing, wheezing, and chest tightness. Asthma can be controlled with proper treatment. Bronchitis. An infection of the airways, usually by a virus, difficulty in breathing, and a hacking cough that produces phlegm. Bronchitis is treated with rest, plenty of fluids, and avoiding smoking and fumes. Pneumonia. An infection of the alveoli, usually by bacteria. Cough, mucus may be rusty or green, fever, fast breathing, and feeling short of breath. Antibiotics are used to treat pneumonia. Tuberculosis. A slowly progressive pneumonia caused by the bacteria Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Coughing, trouble breathing, fatigue, fever, and sweating. Tuberculosis can be treated by taking oral medicine. The circulatory system. In humans, The circulatory system helps in transportation of various nutrients and oxygen to all the cells and parts of the body. It also helps in removal of nitrogen waste, carbon dioxide from cell to cell. It plays very important role in transportation of hormones from their organs of secretion to their target organs. The circulatory system comprises of the heart and blood vessels. Blood and lymph are also the part of it. Heart. Heart is a triangular muscular pumping organ made up of cardiac muscles. The main function of heart is to pump blood to the various parts of the body. Heart is present inside the rib cage, also called chest cavity. Heart is made of 4 chambers: the upper, atria, and lower, ventricles. There are 2 atria left and right and 2 ventricles left and right. Atria, singular atrium, receives blood and have a thin muscular wall. Ventricles are the lower chamber, having a thick muscular wall, and it pumps out blood. Heart, with the help of lungs, helps in the circulation and pumping. Oxygenated blood supplied to the heart from lungs. Also, deoxygenated blood from heart goes to lungs for filters of oxygen. Our blood circulation is called double circulation. It keeps the deoxygenated and oxygenated blood separate. Heart pumps blood by contraction and relaxation, which constitutes a heartbeat. The highest pressure when your heart beats and pushes the blood round your body is called blood pressure. The contraction of the heart is called systole and its relaxation is called diastole. Know this: the ventricles have thicker muscular walls than the atria because the blood is pumped out of the heart at greater pressure from these chambers. The 4 chambers of heart are separated by muscular wall called septa. The valves are also present in the heart. So, movements of blood flow only in one direction. The heart is protected by a muscular sac called pericardium. The rate of heartbeat is equal to the pulse rate. A pulse is the rise and fall of the atrial wall. In human beings, the rate of heartbeat is about 68 to 72 times per minute. Blood vessels. Blood vessels carry blood. They are of 3 types: arteries, veins, and capillaries. 1. Arteries. The arteries have thick wall with narrow lumen. They take oxygenated blood from the heart to all the parts. 2. Veins. Veins have thin wall with wider lumen. They bring deoxygenated blood from the body part to the heart. The valves are present in veins. Table 3.4. Differences between artery and vein. Artery, vein. It carries blood from the heart to other parts of the body. It carries blood from different parts of the body to the heart. It carries oxygenated blood, except pulmonary artery. It carries deoxygenated blood, except pulmonary vein. In arteries, blood flows with high speed and under high pressure. In veins, blood flows with low speed under low pressure. Valves are not present. Valves are present in veins. The arteries are deep-seated. The veins are superficial. 3. Capillaries. These are tiny, thin-walled vessels which form a network to take blood through the organs and tissues. Blood. Blood is fluid connective tissue. It comprises of plasma in which red blood corpuscles, RBCs, white blood corpuscles, WBCs, and platelets are found. Red blood corpuscles, RBCs. They are known as erythrocytes. The RBCs are disc-like structure and biconcave. In RBCs, nucleus is absent. They are formed in the bone marrow. They contain red-colored pigment, hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is called respiratory pigment because it carries oxygen and helps in transportation to the cells. Their lifespan is of 120 days. White blood corpuscles, WBCs. They are known as leukocytes. The WBCs are amoeboid in shape. They are nucleated. They engulf infection, so they keep the body free from infection and disease. They are produced in the bone marrow and lymph nodes. There are various kinds of WBCs found in monocytes, lymphocytes, eosinophils, neutrophils, and basophils. Their lifespan is of 15 days. Platelets. They are known as thrombocytes. Platelets are fragments of cells. They do not have nucleus. They play an important role in blood clotting and prevent loss of blood during injury. Functions of blood. It helps to transport the respiratory gases oxygen and carbon dioxide. It also helps to transport the nitrogenous waste urea. It helps to transport the nutrients like glucose, amino acids, minerals, vitamins, simple proteins, etc. It helps in transportation of hormones from endocrine glands to target organ. It helps to prevent loss of blood by blood clotting. It helps in maintaining a constant average body temperature. Lymph. Lymph is the extracellular fluid. It is the plasma along with protein and WBCs. It flows from the tissues to the heart. It is whitish in color. It also helps to increase immunity against disease. It transports fatty acids and glycerol. Blood groups. Knowledge of blood group is very beneficial for us. In case of an emergency, blood group is very important because the blood group have to be compatible for transfusion to take place. If blood group does not match, it forms clumps or group of blood cells and it may prove to be fatal. Table given here gives you information about blood groups. Table 3.5 Blood group and antigens. Blood group antigen A. Antigen A. B. Antigen B. AB. Antigen A and B. O. No antigen. There are 4 blood groups A, B, AB and O. Group O is without antigen, so it is called universal donor. While group AB has both the antigens, so it is called universal acceptor.